Morning everyone, and welcome back to the Runpreneur vlog, where we discuss all things entrepreneurship and running. It's a lovely fresh morning again. It's below freezing out here, but not too much wind, so again favourable running conditions, but a bit cold. And it's a Wednesday Wellbeing, which is where we talk about all things well-being and mindset. And today's topic is intermittent fasting and how I use it, to make myself feel better and to feel healthier. So if you like this type of stuff, please make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Now let's get started. So, intermittent fasting. What is it to start with? Most people will probably know it, but there'll be a few people out there who probably haven't heard so much about intermittent fasting, what it is and why people do it. And I think ultimately it is a form of dieting to a degree, or the ability to control calorie intake, which I suppose is the same thing really, but or to control greediness is another one. And what it is there's lots of different variations of it, whereby you can take days off. So basically it's an intermittent fast, so you're not fasting for the long term, like you can do with certain religious festivals and stuff like that, but what you're doing is you're fasting on a stop-start type of basis. And there's multiple variations. You can do kind of 2 days throughout the week and 5 days we eat normally. You can do it based on hours, so there's lots of different combinations of intermittent fasting. But I think probably the most popular, again there's not a lot of evidence to back this up, but I see a lot of people on social channels talking about the kind of 8-16 philosophy. So what it means by that is that 8 plus 16 is 24 hours, 24 hours in a day, so you can eat for 8 hours of those 24, and you fast for the next 16. And it sounds probably harder than it really is, if I'm being brutally honest, because I adopt a kind of connotation of the 8-16 process, but I don't stick to it religiously, and I'll tell you my reasons why in just a minute. But the 8-16 variation is obviously 8 hours. Well, most people think of 8 hours as a working day, isn't it? So if you only ate between the hours of 9 and 5, I think that's 8 hours, or it might be 9 and 5, you'd be okay. And then you can't eat from 5 through till 9 the next morning. But most people generally miss breakfast and will generally fast up until kind of midday, 1 o'clock time, and then they'll eat between the hours of kind of midday to 8 p.m. or kind of 1 p.m. to kind of 9 p.m, which is, I think, recommended, because it's easy. There's nothing worse than eating too much too early and then digesting it all and then being hungry all evening. I would much rather kind of come out and distract myself with like a run or something in the morning and not eat until kind of midday, 1 o'clock time, and then I know I've got until kind of 8:30, 9 o'clock time before I have my kind of last portion for the day. So that ultimately is intermittent fasting. So why do people do it? Well, a lot of people use it as a kind of kickstart their metabolism. There is some science and evidence that backs up that intermittent fasting speeds up people's metabolism. There are conflicting evidence out there as well, which suggests if you skip breakfast, your body gets more into a storing fat habit, so hence you can even put on weight in these situations, or certainly put on more fat as opposed to muscle. So you can obviously, there's so much information out there, it's believe, sometimes it's hard to know what to believe, but I'm more of a believer in the first instance, where there has been quite a lot of evidence to suggest it kickstarts people's metabolism, and so that's kind of one thing. The next thing is it works really nicely as a kind of diet. Now, if you calorie count on this as well, it can often make it even more challenging, because you're potentially reducing your food intake as well, whilst reducing the window of opportunity to consume it. So, but a lot of people would do that, and I kind of loosely calorie count, but I don't. Clearly, I'm not trying to do it to lose weight. I do it for very different reasons, which I'll come on to in just a second. So, you can obviously do it for kickstarting your metabolism if you've got a slow metabolism. Number two, you can do it as part of a diet, or as the diet. You know, ultimately, you've got less time to eat. If you were eating for the full time you're awake, periodically, just from grazing and snacking, it's highly likely you're going to consume more when you've got far more time to consume it in. The danger is with intermittent fasting is people then go, all right, I'm going to gorge my way through as much food as possible in my window of eating opportunity, but that's kind of defeating the purpose, because all you're then doing is consuming the same amount of calorie input, if not more, in a short space of time, which would probably actually result in you feeling a bit lethargic and not the best, to say the least. So I wouldn't recommend doing that. But the final way that I think this is more relevant to me is that you're controlling your level of greed. And if I explain what I mean by this, is I've got this kind of addictive personality, and when I'm very kind of mentally resilient as well, so I can kind of stick things out. But that kind of works against me in some situations, like food. Like, I don't eat chocolate, sweets, biscuits, cakes, crisps, all that stuff I've just cut out. I go through fits and starts where I do eat it, unfortunately, because I do enjoy eating it, and I'll probably have a little bit over the Christmas period, as we probably all will. But the problem that I face is most people can go, oh, I'll have a couple of biscuits, jobs are good, and that was nice. I can't just have a couple of biscuits, I eat the whole pack. Same regards to crisps. I can't just have a pack of crisps. It has to be a massive, great big share bag, or in the worst situations, I'll destroy a multi-pack of crisps on my own in one sitting. And it's just greed, addictiveness. Chocolate is the worst. Oh, just have a cube of chocolate. No. The whole bar goes, and I've even gone to the shop before, after eating one piece, to get some more, because I just get this, I need to eat. But I'm aware of that, you see, so there's nothing, I'm sure there's loads of us out there have these same tendencies, but I'm aware enough to know that it's a flaw, and I'm aware enough to know how to kind of tackle it. So I tackle it by just not eating this stuff. Because when you do go through phases of eating stuff, okay, I'm really light anyway in terms of weight. I think I'm just under 68 kilograms, which is super light. I think it's about 10.5 stone, somewhere in those regions. And my heaviest I've been is 11.5, so I've never been kind of overweight. But when I'm down at kind of 10.5 stone, I can see my body fat levels are significantly lower, which gives me a bit more confidence and I feel better about myself. 11.5, look, I'm not tubby, I'm not showing any form of fat, but I just don't feel that I'm toned in any way, shape or form. So I'm just kind of probably pretty average when I get up to 11.5. So 10.5 stone I'm pretty happy at. I think the lowest I've been is 66.7 kg, something like that. That's getting too low, and I look gaunt when I kind of get down to that level. So I try and maintain around about the kind of anything between 67 and 68 I'm pretty happy with. Above 68 I'm just a little bit mindful of, but this is just personal targets, and I have my own reasons for this. Some people might think this is ridiculous, but it's all relative and very bespoke to each person. So why do I use intermittent fasting? Well, firstly, I don't do it to the law, as in factor in I've got 8 hours to eat and that's it. But I always miss breakfast, okay, because the way I operate is you can kind of have between 1500, but there's various different criteria here on calorie intake. Most men, you're looking at a kind of 2000 calories per day, whereas most women is kind of 1500. So my body mass is smaller than a lot of men, so I kind of think somewhere between kind of 1600, 1700 calories is about right for me. The difficulty, I suppose, is that I do a lot of exercise as well, so I burn a lot of calories, which can always leave me in a deficit. But I'm okay with that as long as I don't feel tired. I think that my body's kind of telling me how many calories I need to take on, rather than me going, oh, I'm going to stick to calorie counting. And that's another thing that I think people should consider, is what their body's telling them. Your body will tell you, if you're not getting enough calories, you'll be tired, you'll lack energy. You know, there's lots of things that will tell you. If you're getting too many, you'll feel bloated, you'll put on weight, you know, all these types of things. Your body will give you telltale signs if you just look out for them. So I've kind of worked out in my mind, I know roughly what a 500 calorie portion is, and so I normally have a lunch of about 500 calories, and it's actually more substantial than you think. And then I won't have anything until dinner. Again, dinner is normally 5, maybe 600 calories in a dinner, which is again a standard portion. So I know that just by eating those two, I'm on about 1100 calories. And you can tell when you look at a plate and what's on it, whether it's heavy, more calorie dense or lower on the calorie intake. And you do this by, you know, suppose when you've calorie counted for a while and you understand how many calories and different ingredients, etc., you can kind of very loosely work it out. If you haven't done, just use a calorie counting app of some kind, like MyFitnessPal or the Fitbit app's another good one. And before you know it, you'll start realising how many calories are in different types of foods, and you won't need to calorie count as such. So that's pretty crucial. But I know that I'm normally somewhere between 1,000 and 1,100 calories intake when I eat lunch and dinner. I generally don't snack. Occasionally, if I'm really hungry, I might have a snack after, you know, mid-afternoon snack. It's normally a bowl of cereal, which is about 150 to 200 calories. And I'll always have a snack in the evening generally. Again, another 150 to 200 calories. So I know that I've got 2 snacks in the bag and I've got 2 meals. And occasionally I won't eat all my snacks. I'll eat my 2 meals, I might have 1 snack in the evening, or occasionally I have my 2 meals and then 2 snacks in the evenings, depending on how I'm feeling. And I find that keeps me about right. And that's why I do it. So there is a lot of evidence that suggests you shouldn't eat within, I think it's a couple of hours before you go to bed, because you're obviously letting your body digest before you go to bed. I don't really follow that, which is a little bit silly, but my justification for not following that is that if there's anything kind of slowly digesting through the night, okay, it might have a bit to the contrary, it might have a negative impact on my sleep, but it doesn't usually, and it might leave me a bit more full in the morning, so that when I come out and do my run, I'm not running on a complete empty stomach. That's my kind of mindset. But generally speaking, I'll eat anything kind of between 12:30 and 1 will be where I normally have lunch, and then I'll eat my dinner, but I'll stop eating usually by about 10 at night. So I'm not a million miles out. I mean, I'll stretch it to maybe 9.5 rather than 8 hours of my window of opportunity. But then most nights I'm not in bed until about midnight anyway, so it normally works out about right. But like I say, my reasons for doing it is I'm listening to my body. I feel my metabolism is good. I'm 38 now. I'm not as young, and my metabolism isn't as quick as it once was. It's still pretty quick, I suppose, which is I'm thankful for. But I just feel now I'm at the age where I need to work a bit harder to keep it at that level, which is why I kind of do these things. So that's hopefully given you a good understanding of, well, a beginner's guide to intermittent fasting. So if I was going to summarise this in a number of points, I'd say, number 1, intermittent fasting it can be done in a multitude of ways, but ultimately you're eating for small periods of time over a longer period. So i.e. you could fast for a whole day. Some people do 2 and 5, so they'll have 2 fasting days and they'll eat normally for 5 days a week. Other people will do it by hours, so like the 8-16, so eat for 8 hours of the 24 in a day and don't eat for 16, and you can do that multiple times a week or every day of the week. I do it every day predominantly, and I feel pretty good for it. So that's what intermittent fasting is. Why do people do it? Number 1, it's kickstart your metabolism. Number 2, it works as a diet without having to worry too much about diet plans and all that side of things. It's pretty easy to follow. And number 3, it can stop you being greedy. And just to re-emphasize on the greed point, I did a bit of research on this actually about hunger scales and understanding this. And it's quite important for me because I'll often eat, or I have done in the past, just through boredom. And a lot of us do that, and a lot of us have done that through lockdown. And when you start to understand the hunger scale and be conscious of it, you can actually talk yourself out of eating just for the sake of it, which is pretty cool. But I find that links quite nicely with intermittent fasting to kind of control your greed levels. And finally, you know, don't get caught into doing things for other people. Set your own target of what you want to achieve, and hopefully intermittent fasting can be part of your journey, which allows you to meet your required health goal. So, hope that's been useful. As always, if you've got any comments, drop me a comment. I'll respond to every one. If it's a bigger topic, I'll still respond, but I'll do a separate vlog episode and tag you in. If this is irrelevant to you and it's clustering up your social feeds, just unfollow it, no problem there. But before you go, please do subscribe to my YouTube channel, Runpreneur, where all these vlogs are published first and they're full length, and they're all nicely catalogued by playlist. So pretty nice way, and hopefully there'll be some stuff in there that you can dab in and out of in the future, which will be useful to you on an ad hoc basis. Also, make sure you join the Facebook Runpreneur community group, where I will be hosting all the free resources that go alongside this vlog, and again, absolutely free. So hopefully there'll be some good stuff in there that will help you on your journey. So that's it for me today. What's left to say is that the Runpreneur, the vlog, was set up to help entrepreneurs, business owners overcome stress, anxiety and overwhelm by using exercise, and in my case running, as a release mechanism to kind of control, manage and thrive under these emotions that every single entrepreneur and business owner experiences. And often the difference between success and failure is in that entrepreneur, business owner's ability to manage these emotions. If you do it well, you can take on more, you can feel in control, you can grow, you can scale without the pressures. If you don't do it so well, it results in pressure. And pressure builds, and then something breaks. And unfortunately, it's usually either the entrepreneur or the business, both of which can often be terminal to the likelihood of your business lasting the test of time or surviving. So, I've been there. I've lost multiple businesses in the past because I haven't been able to control these emotions. I've been bogged down, I've been overwhelmed, I've been out of control, and it's not a nice place. It's a horrible place. It's kind of depression level place, which is horrendous. And I now have some kind of steps I take in my daily life now, which allows me to control, clarify what's kind of going on, digest it all, and stay in control and not feel so overwhelmed. And I feel I'm well placed now to try and help others. So my pledge to you is there's no sale, there's no catch on this whatsoever. If you are one of these people, and a few people have taken me up on this already, which is amazing, if you're one of these entrepreneurs or business owners that just feels you've got nowhere to turn, you're too your pride's getting in the way, or too proud to talk to nearest and dearest, drop me a message, we'll jump on a call and we'll see if we can put some implementable steps into your daily life that can kind of help you overcome these experiences. So that's it for me today. As always, if you like this content, please remember to subscribe to this channel. If you want to see more, please click the playlist. And I've got a van coming in front of me. And that's it for me today. All that's left to say is stay positive, stay happy, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.